What the fuck? Okay, so normally I take the time after watching an episode of Titans, like, leave it overnight before I start filming the review for it, but partially because I'm behind schedule because of exams and partially because of what this episode was, I'm just gonna do it with everything fresh on the mind, because okay, buckle in, boys and girls, this is gonna be much more of a ramble than anything else I've ever put on this channel, because this episode was crazy. It was crazy. Oh, I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll start with a synopsis as usual. We'll keep this one brief so we can get right into the rant. Right after last week's exciting cliffhanger, we get nothing to do with that. Instead of that, we get this sort of fever dream where Hawk, there we go, I got there in the end. I completely forgot his superhero name there for a second. Where Hawk is high on sleeping medication, and Dawn, who is Dove, is, well, conked out because of the events of the second episode of the show. They're both having a hallucination of how they met. Hank more to do with like how he became Hawk, and Dawn more to do with how she became Dove. So it's basically a story of how they met and how they became superheroes. Yeah, that's about as little detail as I can go into it without getting too many spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers and you don't like listening to someone rant like a madman, you might want to turn away right now. So, that out of the way, let's talk about this episode. Okay, first of all, holy f*** was this episode dark. Like, Titans has established that it's going for a more dark and gritty tone, but this was extra, even by Titans standards. And I admire them for the bravery of going that full send dark in a superhero show, but oh, okay, let's get all of my complaints. We'll do this in chronological order according to the episode, because that's easier for me to keep in track. Also, that's what I've got in the hastily written notes that I have. So, first of all, last week's cliffhanger was excellent. I loved last week's cliffhanger, because it left me wanting more, and when I saw that this episode was going to be about Hank and Don, I was like, alright, how are they going to connect this back to last episode, and how are they going to resolve last episode's plot twist? Answer, they didn't. What? They just moved on, and last episode just doesn't matter. Why would you do that? Why would you break up the momentum of the show as it's been going on? Because the past few episodes, I have been enjoying this show. Of course, it does not hold a candle to the original cartoon in my mind, but it's been different, and I've been enjoying it for it being different. But then it 180s on the plotline that's been building up and goes on a tangent. Like I mentioned back when I reviewed Jason Todd, that it was a lot like the time that Stranger Things took an episode to do a plotline with Eleven, which was, whilst important, completely irrelevant. This is worse than that, because Hawk and Dove were kind of irrelevant to begin with. And this is even more of a tangent off them. It's insane. Why would you do that now? Like, you could have established some of that maybe a little bit earlier on in the show when they first showed up, to actually tell us that they'd be more important in the show. But now? Why? Why would you do that? So, as much as I've been enjoying a few of the episodes of Titans, like most of the episodes of Titans as they come out so far, the planning of the show itself, the planning of the season is so messy. It's insane. Like, did no one actually read through this and proofread it? So, at the beginning of the episode, Hank saves his brother from being molested by his coach, taking his brother's place in the incident. Now, whilst my gut reaction was to be horrified, because this went into extra dark levels, even for this show. It was really jarring. Whilst my gut reaction was to be horrified by that, it is a very well done scene. I will give it that. It just went so far left field into the darkness that it was like whiplash. But that in mind, still a very well composed scene, just very, very dark. A little bit darker than I tend to like my shows, but that's just like lower level complaint about this show, because that at least was still well done. Also, just the whole thing with the coaches is but it does demonstrate really well that what Hank's damage is, and why he particularly wants to go around beating up pedophiles. So that like he's got a personal attachment, that makes total sense, and it feels organic when he and Dawn decide to start doing that. By the way, Alan Richardson, the guy playing Hank, he's really good in this episode. Like I think I made fun of him a little bit in my review of the second episode for kind of being a bit ridiculous, but in this episode he's actually doing a very good job at acting, so good stuff there. The guy playing Don is serviceable. Like he's good. He's not great, but he's good. I did like his character for the 20 minutes he was on screen. Moving on to how we get introduced to Dawn, she's also had a relationship with abuse, except this time from a father figure. It's not clear whether he was a father or a stepfather or whatever, but so there is a precedent for her wanting to go into beating people up who abuse other people, so that makes sense. Her mother, though, they drag Marina Sirtis into this shit. I feel so bad for Marina Sirtis now, because she was Counselor Troy, she was awesome, and she's stuck playing some thankless role in Titans. Oh, really makes me depressed. That's really sad. Anyway, the two groups, like Hank and Dawn, and then Dawn and her mother, they meet on the street after they crash into each other, and then comes the bit where Dawn and Marie are just gratuitously knocked out of the show. I mean, literally, they are knocked off the show. And the death scene is actually terrible. Like, y'all thought Miranda Tate's death in The Dark Knight Rises was bad? You ain't seen shit yet. Johnny! It's comical. It's funny. That's how bad it is. It is the kind of stuff you see on, like, some awful comedy. Like, you know that bit of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Gina got hit by a bus? That's what this looked like. Like, oh, so that was bad. Then we get the whole grief counseling thing where they meet again and become friends and then start dating each other. Now, most of that's kind of nice. There are some nice moments between Hank and Dawn in that bit, but there's this one bit where he doesn't show up to the grief counseling, and they've got this shot of this empty chair whilst the counselor's talking about an emptiness in everyone's hearts, and it's just, no, I can write metaphors better than that. That was on the nose. Then, of course, Dawn discovers the whole hawk and dove thing through, okay, probably not the dumbest way possible, but it's up there. Like, it just falls out of Hank's cupboard, just, and then he's like, well, I can't just say it was some training stuff or something, and just whips out a video of him beating the shit out of someone. Because, you know, that's what girls like. After that, he tells Dawn about his coach, and then she's like, well, why don't you beat the crap out of him? And Hawk basically admits that he couldn't face up to him, which makes sense. Perfectly good character building there. Of course he wouldn't want to face up to that. It's a terribly traumatic experience. Then Dawn is like, well, that shit, and decides that she's going to go after this bloke. Which, you know, I could see that happening. Although her transition from grieving with Hank about the death of a family member to let's go vigilante was pretty quick. I do have to say that. But, again, with her history of abuse, it does make sense. So she breaks into this guy's house, she beats the crap out of him, and then Hank shows up and beats the crap out of him some more, and then I guess they kill him? Doesn't really specify, although with the beating he took, I assume he's dead. That's also including Hawk and Dove's later precedents for killing people. So that was that. And then afterwards, they're just like, you know, they go home and you're like, you know what? We just killed a pedophile. Let's sleep together. Like, who does that? It was such a... It's just, who... What? Someone's coming down the stairs fast. So that was that. And then we find out that the whole thing was a fever dream, and that they were sharing the dream somehow. Dawn wakes up Hank, and then Dawn is like, we have to find Jason Todd because Rachel said so, and it's just like, first of all, okay. Second of all, why? Why does Rachel want to find Jason Todd? Now, I really, really hope that this isn't just some dumb shit. But why? What has he done aside from kill some cops? Like, last I checked, we're supposed to hate Jason Todd. He's a dick. Like, more of a dick than Dick. I shouldn't have used that joke, but it was right there, and I had to take it because low-hanging fruits of jokes is my speciality. But, again, we had such a good setup for a really good episode last time. And they wasted it on breaking the momentum of the show with this. I don't understand. Why would you do that? I don't understand a lot about this episode, I'm not gonna lie. Because there's a lot of weird choices going on. Like, we're gonna just jump back to the whole death scene, because, like, that was the weirdest choice of all. It's just gone, done. Like, when it happened, I actually had to drag the episode back to check that I'd seen what I thought I'd seen, because it's so unceremonious. And it happened so fast as well. Like, the writers were like, oh, well, we gotta get this moving. Let's just kill him off quickly, not worry about it, that'll be that. Why would you do that? That's a terrible choice. These people were important. You don't just go and have them gone from the episode and that be that. No. Like, I could think of so many better ways that they could have done that. But, you know, we were doing so well for a few episodes there, and then it does this. I don't know. Why did they do that? That was my ramble of a tangent on the episode that we just watched. I've completely forgotten its name. I just had it in front of me. Let's see. It's called Hank and Dawn. There we go. But yeah, that's what the fuck is my head doing? I'm actually so cross, but at the same time, the bits that were supposed to be serious, some bits that were supposed to be serious just came off laughable. Like, I just remembered another one. Like, when Dawn starts looking through the coach's computer and sees pictures of kids, we just get this.
He's a sick man. He's sick.
No shit! Why would you need to point that out again? You got it. The reason you're there is because he's a sick bastard. Why would you say it again? Why? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Like, did no one actually proofread the script for this one? Like, one more revision and this could have been a really good episode, but no. No one proofread it, they just sent it off to be filmed. Well, at least that's how it looks. Next episode in the series is probably... Let me look this up so I don't have it wrong. Right, the next episode is Coriander, where I assume we move away from this tangent and back to the plot that matters. I can't wait for that, because that most likely won't suck. But I am worried now. Anyway, that was my ramble of a tangent. Here's your obligatory speech about that like and that subscribe button. As I said, I'll probably be pre-filming some stuff over this next week, as well as packing and cleaning up so I can go home. I don't know if I'm going to be able to review the next few episodes of Titans, because I'll be at home. I'll do my best. No promises though. Not that anyone's watching this. That was sad. Let's cut that out. But yeah. In the meantime, I will see you later.